So realistically, once the rumors and things came out about Masters of the Universe, I can honestly say I had no real hope for it and I had no desire to watch it. So I'm not going to do a review of it. I think, there are more than enough reviewers on YouTube tearing this thing apart. And, I agree with them. I think it's atrocious. I think it's atrocious what's happened. And I'm not surprised because part of the reason I gave up on the industry, especially here in the US in the first place, is because it's long been understood that they don't care. They don't care about the properties. They don't care about the fans. They don't care about their main audiences. Everything has been geared toward, building what they want to see. And I think one thing that really kind of classifies it is, I think it was probably a few months ago now that I saw a video done by, is it the Fourth Age? And he was kind of talking about, I can't even say the title of the comic book, but Itch Planet. And, and basically how the whole premise and idea of that comic in the first place was not to entertain, but was specifically designed to be sort of like a pamphlet, because everything in Hollywood right now, and especially as they are continuing to isolate themselves, because, let's be honest, at this point, they're so far gone from being regular people that they can't understand how to be human anymore. And they have literally created for themselves this widespread hug box that no one ever disagrees with them. No one ever confronts them on their ideas. So a lot of what they believe has always been co-signed. So they're not equipped to actually engage with people who disagree with them. They don't understand that people actually do disagree with them, because it goes back to Kevin Smith talking about why he is so surprised that he got backlash, because to him, in his mind, all the people he has surrounded himself with told him that he was absolutely brilliant to kill He-Man, that it was the greatest thing, that, no one would complain about that because, whoever would want to watch a He-Man show with actual He-Man in it, because that is just insane, right? And, as far as he's concerned, when he's, doing this whole tour of trying to protect himself and pretending like he didn't actually lie to people and pretending like, it'll all be okay. And that, well, if we just watch the second season, which I'm sorry, at this point, I don't know who would even want to watch the supposed second season, which 5 episodes for a first season isn't really a season. But let's be honest, it's this idea and this attitude that Hollywood has, because that's really kind of been the thing that has been bothering me more than anything else. And is really the reason that I decided to speak with my wallet, because as far as I'm concerned, I think it's what they deserve. I honestly think that it is what they deserve. I think they deserve to have fans no longer pay for these things, because essentially what they want is they want to preach at you. They want to lecture you. They want to tell you what to think, what to do. They want to do all of that, and they want you to foot the bill. Netflix is keen on putting out crap, and they don't really care how the fans feel, hence why we got what we got. Hence why, they're now complaining because they're not getting the subscribers that they're looking for. It's why people are going away from Netflix. it's the amazing thing of you don't give fans what they want. The fans that are the core, that is the core base, you keep telling them you don't need them. You keep telling them, that they are evil people, that they engage in wrong things, that they are just fanboys, even though, let's be honest, it isn't all boys that are, that are part of these fandoms. It's this idea of we want to take what a core base enjoys and then we want to destroy it. And, if the fan base actually gets upset, then we'll just claim it's not for you, but you never actually find an audience because, let's be honest, they don't know they know who they want their audience to be. And that's the point. They know who they want their audience to be. And it's far leftists who, other than the virtue signaling, they don't really care about these properties. They're not really looking to engage in these properties. They don't actually care about any of it, if they even have the money to be able to engage in this. What they want is to be able to laugh at the people who actually do enjoy it because they get off on this thrill of destroying what people love. And, I've long understood and I've long watched, especially as I've seen, fandom after fandom after fandom begin to crumble. It is the understanding that what they want is for no one to have the ability to find escapism. They don't want you to enjoy sports. They don't want you to enjoy comics. They don't want you to enjoy games. They don't want you to enjoy anything. They literally want you to sit there and be lectured to day after day after day after day until they can find something else to complain about and they can lecture you some more. And if they can't make you be obedient, well, then they just want to get rid of you. I mean, at this point, it really shouldn't be surprising to people. It really shouldn't be surprising. I mean, we certainly should have all seen this coming. And, I know that for me, it's always kind of been what can be done? Because, okay, not engaging in those systems anymore, finding something that I can actually enjoy, that's fine and all. But at the same time, what happens when they finally destroy everything that I enjoy? Is there enough of us that have been waiting in the wings, or not even waiting in the wings, but have been working in the background to actually create things that can actually take over? Because that is the thing. It's the, I guess, kind of like what I've been thinking and kind of what I've been, wondering is how countercultural are people willing to be? Because at this point, the progressive messaging has gone from being counterculture to now actually being the absolute norm. So in order to get ourselves out of that, in order to get back, solidified fun fandoms, fun books, fun, movies, comics, whatever it is that people enjoy, what are people willing to do? Because, this is not something that's ever going to change if I think it's not going to change if we keep sitting there and we just complain. And if we just complain and we don't do anything, nothing ever changes. In fact, it will only get worse because after a while they'll do like Kevin Smith's been doing. Oh, well, it's just a small group of fans that are complaining. And they'll just, keep saying, oh, well, the fan numbers on Rotten Tomatoes, like the audience score, that's so low. Oh, it's because it's being review bombed. It's not because it's an actual reality. And they'll just continue to write off the actual fans because that's what they want to do in the first place, because they don't care if something gets destroyed, they've already made their monies. Now, it might eventually be the detriment. It'll finally be detrimental in the long term, but these places aren't actually thinking long term. In a lot of cases, they're thinking, well, or maybe they are thinking long term, and it's just a matter of they just believe that they'll be able to, weather the storm, so to speak, that, finally, when they have gotten their way, they'll have this great, kind of progressive army that will, eat of the fruit that they're consistently pouring out, so to speak. So, yeah, it's not surprising at this point. And I just, like I said, I kind of just wanted to do this video. It wasn't even my plan to do this video, but it has kind of been bothering me for these past few days. Like it really has been bothering me because this I hate this attitude that we keep seeing out of Hollywood. I'm not surprised. I hate it. I hate the attitude of, of just people in these industries. Period. I'm sick and tired of watching them destroy people who are trying to be competition, who are trying to put something out there that is fun and engaging for fans, for people who are looking for escapism. I'm tired of seeing that happen, and I'm tired of seeing them grow larger and larger and larger, even though I understand that to a degree, they've kind of become paper tigers at this point, because they're all at the point of, bankruptcy and failing and whatnot, and yet they refuse to course correct. Why? Because the ideology has become so important to them at this point, and it really is ideology at this point. What we are dealing with, what we are fighting against, what we are trying to break free from is really ideology, because they have become, they have been infested at this point with enough true believers that don't care how many, properties are destroyed. They just want to keep putting out the pamphlets. And so, yeah, like I said, I get that the answer of what to do is really kind of nuanced, and, it's going to involve a lot of work, a lot of work, and a lot of fighting, and a lot of scraping through, and a lot of, a whole lot of that. But, I guess one of the things that I really just kind of hope for and pray for a lot of times is that, people find a place of being strengthened for the fight, and understanding that they're not the only ones fighting these battles. They're not really alone in this, that, you can do this, because in a lot of cases, when you look at the history of what progressivism has done and how it's gone from being seemingly so small to just like being this raging inferno that has kind of taken over, like you understand, like, they just had this drive to just do what they believed in doing. And, like I've kind of had these conversations myself in regular life. A lot more about Christianity and how, a lot of times we kind of get ourselves caught up in standing around, scratching our heads, wondering how things around us got so bad and how they turned out the way that they did. But I think a lot of fandoms are kind of that same way. I think overall, it's really kind of been the same way. For those of us who want change, for those of us who want things to be different, we kind of have to stop standing around scratching our heads, and we got to start actually doing something about it, doing more than just complaining, doing more than just, doing, a bad review now, or not a bad review, but doing reviews and doing videos. All of that helps, because it does actually help, because knowing that knowing that what Clownfish TV, what they said was the truth is actually very helpful, because it just continues to remind me of why I don't trust people in the industry in the first place. So the more we can keep going through with that, the more that we can, find something within ourselves to keep pushing forward, the more we take risks, because at this point, it's time for people to start taking a risk. I think we can eventually get to a place where you can begin actually making your mark. But yeah, it starts small, but all things kind of start small. And, if there's any kind of takeaway from this video, it's really kind of that at this point. It is, the messaging that Hollywood doesn't care. Industry people don't care. Video game makers don't care. Don't let them fool you into thinking that they care. Famous people don't care. Don't let them convince you that they do. They don't. And it's time that we, as people who like these kind of properties and these kind of things, it's time that we understand that they don't care. Look at Snake Eyes with G.I. Joe. It hasn't been doing well at all because it's not a Snake Eyes movie. It's literally something different. They don't care. They don't care. And so it's on us as people to find things, to find ways to be creative, to do something that, can hopefully one day eventually have an impact and not be discouraged. Like it is really like the saying, nothing beats a failure but a try. Because if we never try anything, if we never push ourselves to do anything, then, nothing will happen anyway. But at least, if you put effort in there, if you put work in there, if you, commit yourself to doing something, even if it's something small as supporting, an independent creator's work, things like that will eventually have impact. And so, yeah, that's kind of where my brain has been these past few days with the whole Masters of the Universe thing. And I just, I like I said, I really do kind of hope that things can at some point improve. It won't be today. It won't be tomorrow. Who knows how long it would take. But I do believe that if enough people, and it doesn't have to be a majority, I think if enough people committed themselves to learning how to do what they can do, it'll change things. It'll at least give people a choice and an option. And so with that, I'm probably going to end this video here. If you like this, click the like button, click the subscribe button, share this, do all of that. And I will see you on the next video with what I actually had scheduled. Bye.